everybody, how's it going? Let me get this pulled up here. Okay, howdy. How's it going, everybody? My name's Paul. I'm with the Dicey Review, and tonight I am super excited because I am here to play some underwater cities. Now, I just recently discovered this game not too long ago because my buddy Matt decided to teach it to me. And after the first time I played it, I knew absolutely that this was the game for me. One of the games for me. It is perfect for the style of game that I love. It's a worker placement kind of engine building game with lots of really fun and satisfying combos. And it has a great solo variant, which is fantastic. I always love a good solo game. I played it last night solo, and I was able to win, which means 100%. It won't happen tonight, but we're going to give it our best shot. We're going to try and see if we can win. Let me do one quick thing here. Let me make sure that everything's good. Aha, we're good. Okay, sweet. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about how to play the game. Everything is already set up and ready to go. So we'll give a little bit of a how to play, because there are some differences between this the solo version and the full-fledged multiplayer game. And then we're just going to play through one complete solo game. And hopefully it will be helpful, and hopefully it will be informative for you if this is a game that you've been wanting to play but just haven't had the time or the brain capacity to learn the rules. I'm here to help you out with that. So I should have said right when we started, welcome to everybody who is watching. If you are watching and you want to give a hey in the chat, say what's up. Absolutely do that. If you are enjoying the content, give us a thumbs up, share it, do whatever you want to do so that we can have more people hanging out with us. And then this will be up later if you want to watch it after the fact, so no worries there. But I get to play a game tonight, so I'm super excited. So what are we doing? In Underwater Cities, we are kind of exploring the ocean because everything is lost on the surface. All right, we're in bad shape. And so what have we not explored? We haven't explored the ocean very much because we know a little bit about space, and space is too dangerous, space is too far off. We're just going to walk to the beach and take a dip in the ocean and start building cities under there, okay? So we're doing that over a certain number of rounds. And basically in each round, we're going to be placing one of our worker pieces. I got some upgraded ones because I love this game so much. Normally, they look like this. These are our little worker placement pawns, but I got myself some submarines. So on our turn, like I said, we're going to be playing 3 turns per round. On our turn, we're going to be placing our worker pawn on one of these spaces around the edge of the board. We're going to be taking the associated action, and then we also have to play a card on our turn. So every turn, we're going to place a worker, play a card, and then we will draw a card, and our turn is done. We'll do that 3 times per round, and then we'll play until the game is over. And the game is kind of split up into different eras. So the first era is 4 rounds, and then you'll see a little gear symbol right here, which means we'll have a production phase, and then we'll move into era 2, and some cool stuff will happen in era 2. We will change out the cards that we're drawing from. We'll have a little bit less time than we normally have, and then kind of the game will go from there. And we'll talk more about that kind of as it happens. We'll just kind of give a brief overview of how to play and then kind of get into it. So like I said, on your turn, you're going to place a worker, play a card. So what are you going to do when you play these workers and play these cards? Well, there are lots of little icons on the board, and they're not too bad once you kind of get a feel for the iconography in the game, but we'll go over those briefly now so that you kind of get an idea of what you're going to do on your turn. So most of the, let's see here, there are a few spaces around the board that are pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, I'm on the 1 and 2 player side of the board. I wanted to make sure I was on the right side of the player board. So whenever you go to a spot that shows one of these little squares like this, so right here, or right here, or right here, these little squares right here represent the resources on the game board. So anytime you go to a space like this, you will simply gain resources. For instance, if I go to this space, I will gain 2 steel and a kelp resource, right? So that's what you can do on spaces like this. If you go to spaces like this up here, you can either gain 2 science or you can use science to upgrade something, which is what we'll talk about here in a little bit. If you come down here, this symbol right here, where you see the little card-like symbols, means you will draw 2 cards from the deck. And then, in addition to that, you can either use a science to do an upgrade, or you can get 1 kelp. So those are kind of how the resource symbols work. You can just gain resources if you go to a spot that has those symbols on them. The other places you can go to is you can go to spaces that have structures of a certain type with an arrow down onto it. And that means that you're going to build a structure on your turn. So for instance, if I were to come here, this is like one of the simplest examples, I would get to build 1 city. The cities look like this. They're the little domes on the player board. We start off with a basic city. But if I come here, this little city symbol with an arrow down means I get to build a new city. So when you're doing that, you have to take into account the costs of building things. And there's different costs associated with each building. Most of them are pretty straightforward, but I'll show this little player reference right here. So if you look down on the left side of the player board, these are the costs to build any type of cities, or buildings rather. So for instance, if I were to go to that space that has the build a city icon, I could pay 2 steel, 1 kelp, sorry, the color is kind of drowned out there, and then 1 credit, and I would get to build a city on my board. Now, when we're building cities, you have different spaces that you can build the city on your board. So for instance, right here, we started off with a little circular spot right here, and you can build a city adjacent to any other space on your board. So let me put this out so you can see it a little bit better. Sorry, there's some glare. But so for instance, if you were building a city next to this space right here, which is your basic city, you can build in an adjacent space. So for instance, I could build on this spot, I could build on this spot, or I could build on that spot. That's kind of how city building works. The other things that you can build on your turn are these different types of buildings. So for instance, if I go here, I can build 2 yellow buildings. If I go here, I can either build 2 white buildings or 2 green buildings. If I go up here, I can build a city and then build 1 building of my choice. And the buildings in the game, they look like this. They're these little discs. And they do different things for you. Like they'll give you food, they'll give you money, they'll give you steel and science tokens. So when you go to one of these spots right here, you get to build some of these buildings out. And you can build them adjacent to your cities in open spaces. So most cities have, on the basic board, they have 3 spaces next to them that can be built on with an additional space that you can kind of unlock. But we, in the solo game, are having to play on the advanced side of the board, so there's kind of some mixed up city spaces. Not every city has space for 3 buildings. Some of them have 2, for instance, right here. And then one of them, I believe, has 4 maybe. Anyway, so there's variable numbers of cities here. But when you come to these spaces right here, you get to pay costs and build buildings next to your cities. So the cost to build buildings is once again here on your little player reference, and it's shown on the left side right here. So to build one of these buildings, it costs the resource shown to the right. So for instance, if I wanted to build a farm, I would pay 1 kelp per farm that I build. If I wanted to build a yellow building, which the game calls a desalinization plant, I could pay 1 credit. If I wanted to build a lab right there, I would pay 1 steel. And then if you want to build a road, which is another action you can take, or a tunnel, you can build that for 1 credit and 1 steel. And there's kind of some rules on how you can place buildings out, and we'll talk about that kind of as we play the game. What are some of the other things we need to talk about? There is a turn order track. So if you come here, you get to move up on this turn order track. Now, in the multiplayer game, that matters a lot more than in the solo player game, or the solo game rather. In the solo game, when you move up on the track, it just assures that you won't have an extra space blocked during the game. So that one is good to do if you can. The other things to talk about are cards. So we haven't really talked too much about cards yet. So there's 2 spaces where you can go to get cards. If you go right here, this space that says S for special allows you to interact with these special cards on the board, and these are in-game scoring points. It's always good to look at these if you can. because they are how you score points at the end of the game. You can either pick from these face-up 6 cards right here, or you can pick from this deck in a one of two different ways. You can just draw from the top or draw 3 and pick one. The thing about these cards is they cost when you play them, and they take up your hand. So they're good, but you have to plan out how you want to play them. The other place that you can go and use cards is this space right here where you see an A. So cards have a number of different symbols on the top left. So the easiest card to explain is well, let me finish explaining this first. So if you come here, you get to use one of your action cards. So cards have a number of different symbols on the top left. One of those cards might be an A. Whenever you come to a spot that shows an A, you get to use one of your action cards, exhausting it for the round, or for the era, rather. These are exhausted once you play them for the whole era, and then they reset once you produce. And you get to do the thing that the card says up top. So we each start with one. Each player starts with one of these cards, and this would give you a steal or a credit whenever you use that. So when you come here, you get to use one of your action cards and then build a road, a tunnel, rather. The cool thing is, though, that you can draw cards as you play the game that might give you different actions. So, for instance, I have a card in my hand here that's a red A card, and if I come to a location, if I play this card out, if I come to a location during the game, I can use this card for its action as well. So the cool thing about cards, one thing that I didn't mention, is when you go to a space on your turn, let's say, for instance, that I go to, and I shouldn't have used that, I should have used this. Let's say, for instance, that I go to this spot. I've gone to a red action space. So before or after I take my action, I could play a card on my turn. I have to play a card. If you play a card that matches the color where you go for your action, you get to do both things. So you get to take the action on the spot and take the action of the card or play the card. And cards do all kinds of cool stuff for you. Some of the cards will have ongoing effects. So that infinity symbol, if you go to an orange or a green action space, you just get to play that card out in your tableau, and then it gives you a cool effect for the rest of the game, which we can talk about. Some of them have a clock symbol like this, which will give you points at the end of the game. So for instance, this card gives you 2 points at the end of the game for every type of resource like that matches. You can do that a max of 6 times. And then cards might also have a lightning bolt that does something immediately. Cards will do things from time to time that will allow you to produce extra stuff. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that cards can do for you. So that being said, we kind of know the basics. We've run through the basics a little bit, so we should go ahead and start playing, and we can talk through things kind of as we come to them. So in the solo game, we are playing with spaces blocked. Basically, every round, you are going to start from the rightmost space and block one of those spaces on each action section, right? So a green action gets blocked, the rightmost action. A red action gets blocked, the rightmost action. And the yellow action gets blocked, the rightmost action, going clockwise. And we have to play around that. And each round, we are going to move these tokens. So these blocked spaces will move every round and kind of change. So we have to prepare for that. In addition, if we don't move up on the turn order track, we're going to have an extra spot blocked. And I'll show you how that happens if it does happen, which I'm sure it will happen. So that being said, we know on our turn we have to place a thing out and we have to play a card. And if we match a card's color with the action that we took, we get to do the card's action as well, which is awesome. The other thing we have to take into account is we have some objective tiles on our board down here, and I'll talk about them kind of as we get to them. Basically, if you can build roads to these tiles, you get immediate benefits. Sometimes you get production benefits. So we definitely want to try for that. The other thing I want to take into account is the goal cards that we have. So there's 2 kind of different ways that I could go. There's cards right here that will give me money during a production, or give me points for money at the end of the game, which yellow buildings produce money and these red resources. And then there's also cards that will give me points for building farms and red cities, which is something that might be a cool strategy too. So I definitely want to pay attention to these types of cards, and I kind of want to build towards a certain strategy. So I love these cities right here, and because they produce points during the production phase. They're tough to build because you have to get a red biomatter resource, pink biomatter resource, which is kind of wild. And normally, unless you have a special card, you can't get those until you produce them in the first production phase. So I think I might lean towards this farm biomatter strategy, but that might drastically change depending on what happens during the game. So that being said, we've picked our 3 starting cards, and we are going to, let's see here. We are going to, at the start of the game, you normally draw 6 and pick 3. I picked these 3 starting cards because I wanted to have a card of each color that I could play to get an action. And since I kind of want to do the farming strategy, you need kelp to build farms. So I kept this card because it allows me to take an action to get 2 cards and a kelp. So that being said, let's get going here. What do we want to do on our turn? What do we want to do? I like to build up kind of an engine early to try and get food, money, kind of some things to help build to take stronger actions later in the game. And the way that we do that is we're going to need to build buildings out around our cities that will produce things. Buildings will produce if they're connected to your network. So your network is basically any city or road connecting back to your starting city. It's connected to your network if it connects back to that. So we want to try and build out our city starting from here and go as far as we can, because at the end of the solo game, we have to score 100 points and we have to build 7 cities to even be eligible to win the game. So knowing what I have in my hand and knowing what I need to build towards, what do I want to play? I have a tile at the end of the game also that says I'm going to get points for every tunnel that I've played out, which is fantastic because I need to build tunnels anyway. So this is a great tile for me. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I like the idea of getting some powerful card actions started off. So I might take a green action so that I can play this green card, because this green card gives me very powerful abilities. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this action right here. So I'm going to go to this spot, and when I go to this spot, I also, like I said, have to play a card. So I'm going to play a card from my hand, and I'm going to play a green card. And since I've gone to a green spot and played a green card, I get to do the action of both things. And I can do this action before or after my board action. But this card just has a infinity symbol, which means whenever I play this card, if I get to use it, I just play it out in my tableau, and it gives me a powerful ability for the rest of the game. This particular card says that if I go to an upgrade spot to upgrade my buildings, I get to pay less science than I normally would if I go to this spot right here. And we'll talk a little bit about upgrading as we build buildings here, which I'm about to do. So I've done my card action. I just get to play my card out. It gives me a cool ability going forward. Now I get to do the action of the spot where I went. So I can build up to 2 desalinization plants, which are these yellow discs. Now, each desalinization plant costs a credit, if we look at our little cost key over here. So I am going to pay 2 credits, and these are hard to come by, but that can pay off in a really big way. Because these yellow buildings produce credits during the production phase, so I can kind of build up a little bit of a money producing engine here. So I'm going to play those 2. Pay those 2 credits, and I get to build 2 buildings. Now, like I said, whenever you build buildings, you have to place them either next to an existing city or next to a existing city where you could build. So, for instance, I could build a city on this spot. So I could also build a building on this spot. I couldn't build a building out here because I can't build a city out there yet. So you can basically build one space away with your buildings as well. But I want to build these buildings next to the existing city, because buildings don't produce during the production phase unless they're next to a connected city, right? So I want to definitely make sure that just in case I'm not able to build a city out here, I want to make sure that these buildings produce. So that being said, I've played a card, I've done my action. Now all I have to do is draw 1 card, and that's my action. So I drew a red card, which gives me 2 credits, which is a pretty sweet card. So that's the card that I drew. It has a lightning bolt that says gain 2 credits, which is awesome because I need to replenish my credits just a little bit. The other thing I need to do is gain some kelp because I would also like to build a farm, and I need to gain some steel because I would like to build another city. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this red spot right here. This is a pretty boring action, but it gives me resources, which I desperately need. So I'm going to go right here. And this action space says I simply gain 2 steel and gain a kelp. So I will grab those from the supply. 2 steel and gain a kelp. But in addition to the action spot, I get to play a card. And I think I'm going to play... So I have 2 choices here. I could either play the action card out, which will give me the choice for actions later, or I could play a card that just gives me 2 money right away. I need at least 1 money. And let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to play out the red card that gives me an action. So I'm placing my red cards over here. You can only build, or I'm placing my action cards over here rather. You can only build 4 action cards. There's a limit of 4 action cards that you can have in your tableau. So right now I'm not in danger of exceeding that limit. I only have 2. But you kind of want to think about what you're doing when you build your action cards over here because you have a limit to those. This is a scoring key reference card, so I'll move that out of the way for now, but we'll definitely need that later. So I've gone to that spot and I've played my red card. So now I'm going to draw a card and my turn is over. And I drew a green card that gives me a really good action. Man, okay. So here's something to think about. I could go to this green spot to build a city and finish out my turn, which wouldn't be a bad idea. The only bummer is if I don't move up on the turn order track before the end of this round, I will have to block an extra action space on the next round. But I think that's okay because I've got some options of things that I can do. So for my third action, I think I'm going to go to this spot right here, build a city, and then play this card. So I went to a green space and I'm going to play a green card, which means I will get to play this action card out in my tableau. So I get to do that. And then I'm going to build a city. So the cost to build a city, once again, as a reminder, is right here on the left side. It costs 2 steel, 1 kelp, and 1 credit to build a city. So I have to pay that now. I'm going to pay my 2 steel, pay my 1 kelp. Oh, I don't have my credit. Ooh, I can't do that. I can't do that yet. That's why I couldn't go to build a city. So instead of going to build the city, I'm going to go and move up on the turn order track. This will be good because next round I won't have to block an extra action space. And when you move up on the turn order track, so right here, this has 2 little Federation symbols, which means I move up 2 spaces on the turn order track. When you move up on a space that has a bonus right here, you gain that bonus immediately. So I moved up next to a space that has 1 credit, so I gain 1 credit, and I still get to play my action card. Those are my 3 actions for the round. So now we will do round cleanup, and I need to draw a card as well. Oh, this one's good. This one's good for my engine that I'm potentially thinking about going for at the end of the game. So these action markers will come back, and then what will happen is the blocked spaces will move 1 space clockwise. So different action spaces are blocked for this round. And now the round marker moves and I'm in round 2. So let's see here. This resets as well. What do I want to do? So I have a credit now, so I think I may want to go ahead and try and build a city. But the cool thing is that a better city building spot just opened up. So if I go up here, this spot is great because it allows me to build a city and then build 1 building of my choice. And I can build that city or that building right next to the city that I just built. I can build it next to my existing city. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to first play a yellow card, an orange card. So this orange card right here is just an ongoing benefit that says every time I build a second farm next to a connected city, I gain a free steal, which is fantastic because I'm thinking that I definitely want to build up some farms in my network here. So that being said, now I get a chance to build a city. So I'm going to pay my 2 steel, I'm going to pay a kelp, and I'm going to pay a credit to build a normal city, which is a bummer because I want to build what's the word? I want to build symbiotic cities is what these are called. And I think I'm going to build my city out here. So once again, you can build a city adjacent to one of your existing cities. So I have 3 options of where I can build it. But I'm going to build it right here because on my player board, there are different bonuses that you may gain if you build on certain spots. This spot right here shows a credit, which means whenever I cover this city space up, I immediately gain a credit. So I'm going to get that immediately, and that will be fantastic. And then now, as the second part of my action, I can build one building of my choice. So that being said, I think I want to build a farm. So to build a farm, it costs 1 kelp. So I'm going to pay that, and then I get to build 1 farm next to a city. Now, I think I'm going to build that farm right here for a couple of different reasons. When you build buildings in cities, you get a more powerful production if you can upgrade those buildings. But in addition to that, you get a more powerful production if you can upgrade 2 buildings in the same city. You get the most powerful production, which we'll talk about during our production phase here in a couple of rounds. On top of that, this advanced board, whenever I build on this spot, this space produces an extra kelp during the production phase. So this is going to be like a super kelp producing factory right here, building. So that being said, I've played all of my cards, I've done all my actions, so now I will draw, and that turn is done. Okay, fantastic. I'm drawing a lot of action cards. These are great. Whew. All right, so that being said, what do I want to do now? I need to connect this city to my network, and I have the resources to build a route, a tunnel to connect to my city. So I think I may do that next on my turn. So as my second action, I'm going to go to this spot right here. So this spot allows me to use one of my action cards, build a tunnel, and it's a red space, which will allow me to play a red card as well. Now, an interesting note, you can play a card that doesn't match the color of the action space where you are, but if you do that, you gain no benefit from your card. You simply just play the card and it's done, and that's it. So you want to avoid doing that if at all possible. So I'm not going to try and do that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my action card first, because once again, you can play your action card before or after your main action. And this one just simply says gain 2 credits. So I'm going to discard this card and gain 2 credits, and my card action is done. Additionally, I can now use the action space of the spot where I went, which will allow me to use an A action. So I can use one of these, and you can use any one that you want to. And I think it might be helpful for me to get an extra kelp, because I would really like to play another farm out next to the city. I would also like to get some science, because if I get some science, I could upgrade my buildings, which makes them stronger. What to do? Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the money and the science. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get the cards and the kelp. So whenever I activate this action card, I get to draw 2 cards and gain 1 kelp. That's what the top of the card says. So I'm going to activate that card as part of my action. Immediately draw 2 cards, which I drew some cool stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I drew some really good cards. And then I'm going to get to build my tunnel. So to build a tunnel, it costs 1 steel and 1 credit. And you can build a tunnel on your board in these little tunnel spaces right here. You have to build a tunnel so that it connects to your starting city. So it always has to connect back to your network. But other than that, you can build tunnels wherever you want to on the board. They just have to always snake back to your starting city. But I think I'm going to build a tunnel on this space right here, because that now means that this city is connected to my starting city, which means that this city is connected to my network and produces stuff for me, which is fantastic. So I've done that. I've paid all my costs. I've played my card. I drew 2 cards as part of my action, but now to finish my turn, I'm going to draw the card that you always draw at the end of your turn. Now, this is important because at the start of my next turn, I have to discard down to 3 cards. You can never have more than 3 cards in your hand. And this is a tough decision because these are all pretty sweet cards. I'm probably going to end up discarding a couple of yellow cards. Now, I drew some cards that will give me bonuses for having laboratories. And labs are great, but I don't really have any reason based on the cards that are out here to gain labs. What does this card say? Build a tunnel for free, then upgrade it for free. Holy cow, man, I might have to come and get that card. Okay. So I have to discard down to 3 cards. I think I'm going to stick with my farm/symbiotic, hopefully city strategy, which means that I will discard this card, even though it's a fantastic card that gives me a bonus during production. For every 3 labs I have, I would produce an extra kelp, which would be great, but I can't really do that. And then I also have a card that says every time an A action card that says I can pay to upgrade a farm. I may actually keep that one. That one's really good. So I'm probably going to get rid of this card because it doesn't really do anything for me on my next turn. This one just is an immediate card that says I could trade 1 kelp for a steel or vice versa, and I don't really want to do that. That being said, I have kept 3 orange cards in my hand, which means on my final turn for this round, I really need to play an orange action, a yellow action, if I want to get a card benefit, which is okay because there's a spot that is pretty good for me that I want to go to. So for my third action, I'm going to go right here. And this action spot allows me to activate one of my action cards and then gain 2 resources that are different from these 3 resources. So I could gain a science and a steel, I could gain a steel and a kelp and a science, however you want to do that. Excuse me. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I will play, I have 3 choices. All of these cards are pretty sweet. I know I'm going to want to take some yellow actions next round, so I have reason to keep these cards. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to play this card right here, which is an ongoing benefit that basically says anytime I can't color match the action that I'm taking, I gain a bonus. So instead of gaining nothing, if I just have to throw a card away, I would gain 1 card, basically. And these can pile up, so these can start to combo if I get more and more of these cards. I only have 1 currently, but it's a pretty sweet kind of consolation prize if I'm not able to match my action with my color, my card rather. Okay, so I get to use an A action, so I'm going to go ahead and use this A action, which says I gain a credit, a science, and 1 card. So I will draw my card. I will gain a credit, and I'll gain a science. Sorry, that card fell off. Sorry, a science and a credit. It's not a bad action because this is going to set me up fairly well for next round when I can potentially upgrade some buildings, which I need to do. Okay. So, that being said, I will then finish my turn by drawing 1 card because you always draw a card at the end of your turn. And that will be that. Okay. So, that's the end of the round, which means we're going to move to our next round. We're only 2 rounds away from production. From our first production, which is going to be hopefully good if I can build out some more buildings next to these cities here, because I really need to get a good engine going to make sure that I have enough oomph to carry me through to victory. Hopefully we can do it. We'll see. I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to power up. I have the strength of half a man all the time. Okay, sweet. So we're at the end of the round, which means we have to move every action marker one space clockwise, which means we go here, we go here, which is a bummer because I like that spot, and we go here. Now this opens up some cool spots for us, but the bad thing is we didn't move up on the turn order track this round, which means we have to block an additional spot on the board. The way that you do that is you draw the top card from the deck. You add, oh man, what a great card that was. Man, I wish I had drawn that. Anyway, you add the number at the bottom left of the card. So a lot of times there's multiple numbers down here. And this one, there's just one. So it's a 9, which means that we count 9 spaces starting from the first space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bummer. We block that space in addition to our normally blocked spaces. And now we go again. So I have to discard down to 3 cards, and I think, man, this is a tough one because I need some kelp. This card gives me a cool benefit. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to get rid of this card, which is a real bummer because this is a sweet action. This one's just an A card that says I can upgrade 1 lab for 1 steel or 1 science, which is a really cool bonus. But anyway, I've got to make decisions. All right, I've got to make tough decisions. Okay, which I hate doing. I can't even decide where I want to go eat half the time. All right, so we are only 2 rounds away. We need to make sure that we can build up our cities a little bit. Produce some things. It would be fantastic if we could build 1 more city and connect before our production phase so we could really get some powerful production going on. But I don't know if we can make that happen. We'll do our best. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this spot right here, which is a spot that allows me to upgrade buildings, which we can talk about now. And I get to play a yellow card. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this yellow card that gives me an ongoing benefit that just basically says every time I build a second yellow building to a connected city, I gain a credit. So that is fantastic. I need to make sure I keep track of these cards. These can really start to pile up. But I'm about to use one of the benefits of these cards. I have an ongoing green card right here that says if I go to this yellow spot to upgrade something, I can pay 2 science instead of 3 to upgrade 3 buildings. So the way this action spot normally works is you can come here and you can either gain 2 science or you can spend up to 3 science to upgrade a building. So when you spend a science, normally if you look at your player reference right here, if you go to one of the spots right here that has this little up arrow, you can upgrade existing buildings on your player board. And you can either upgrade 1 of any type of building. So for instance, I could upgrade this building right here to make it a better yellow building. I could upgrade a green building to make it a better green building. I could upgrade a lab, a white building if I had it out, or you can upgrade tunnels, which tunnels, when they're upgraded, will produce a point at the end of during production, which is fantastic. They normally just produce a money, but they would produce a money and a point if you upgrade them. That being said, I have 3 buildings out, and I would like them all to be upgraded. So normally it costs 1 science to upgrade 1 building. But since I have my little bonus right here, I get to upgrade 3 buildings by paying 2 science. Winner, winner, fantastic, fantastic action. So I'm going to pay my 2 science and I get to upgrade 3 buildings. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade the 3 buildings that I have out because that seems like a good deal. So when you upgrade a building, to show that they are upgraded, you stack a second disc of that color on top of the building. And there's a 100% chance that I'm going to knock off some of these discs as I play. I was telling one of the people on Instagram when I posted about this earlier that I thought today, I just did it right there, 100% chance. I was telling somebody on Instagram earlier today that I thought I was going to get the expansion shipped in today, but then I tracked it and it got pushed off. So I don't have the expansion in yet, and the expansion gives you dual-sided player boards and stuff. So anyway, All right, so I've done my upgrade action. I've upgraded 3 buildings, which is fantastic because that means that they're going to produce better stuff. I've played a card, which is fantastic because that will give me some cool stuff. So I will finish off my turn by drawing a card. Oh my goodness. Everyone, look what I just got. This changes everything. Okay, so this is an instant action that will allow me to spend 1 credit to gain 1 biomatter. The reason that that's really important is because biomatter is required to build a red city, and red cities produce points during the production phase. I want to, as bad as possible, make sure that I can build 1 red city and connect it, and I've got 5 turns to do that. So how can we make that happen? All right, let's see how we can make that happen. To build a red city, I need to get a kelp, a steel, 2 credits, and I could do that by going, okay, I can get most of what I need by going to this spot right here. So what I'm going to do on my turn, on my next turn rather, I'm going to go here to this spot, which gains me 2 steel and 1 kelp. That is fantastic because that's a big part of what I need. In addition to the spot where I just went, I get to play a red card, which this red card is just an immediate action card that says gain 1 kelp. That's fantastic. So for that 1 action, I gain 2 kelp and 2 steel, which is most of what I need to build a red city. But, okay, so I'll finish off this action by drawing a card. But in addition to that, I do need a red resource. So to do that, I'm going to need to go and play this green card and spend a credit, which is no problem. I want to do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go right here, move up 2 spaces on the turn order track, which will give me a credit. And then I'm going to play this green card, which says I can pay a credit to gain 1 biomatter, which is what I need to get a red city, hopefully before the first production. Fantastic. So basically, I gained a credit, I'm going to pay a credit, and now I gain a red resource, which is really hard to get. So cool. Now I'll finish off my action by drawing another card. Fantastic. All right, so we're at the end of the round, which means we have 1 more round. We have 1 more round to build a red city, hopefully connect that red city. Ugh. But I'm gonna have problems with food during the production phase. Okay, we'll see what happens. We'll see how this works out. It might work out. Okay, so here's what we gotta do. First off, we have to move all of the blocked action spaces 1 space clockwise. Since we moved up on the turn order track, hey, what's up, Ben? How's it going? Since we moved up 1 space on the turn order track, we are now able to, we don't have to block an extra space. So, this game needs attacking. The best thing about this game, Ben, is there's 0 attacking, which is why I love it so much. Now that we've done our setup, we're going to get our action markers back here, and now we will hopefully in 3 actions build out a red city, build out 2 roads if we can, and maybe, if possible, build out a building of some type. We'll see. All right, we'll see how it goes. So, Ben, if you weren't here to be able to get the explanation, basically on your turn, you will place a worker, and it will be a certain action color. And then if you can play, you also have to play a card on your turn, and if you play a card that matches your action color, you get to do the card's action as well. That's essentially how the game works. There's little icons that show all of your turns and what you can do. But that being said, I'm trying to build 1 more city over here, and then we're going to have a production phase at the end of this round. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do on my turn, is I am going to... Oh, this is perfect. This might actually work out. Okay, so I'm going to go to this spot right here. No glare on the sleeves. I tried really hard. The lighting is not perfect. There's a little bit of glare up here, I think, but, what are you going to do? So I'm going to this action spot, which allows me to build one city and then build one building of my choice. And I also have an orange card that I can play. So before I play my action, I'm going to play my orange card. And since the card matches the color of the action, I get to do the card. The card just basically says if you have 2 connected cities, you can gain a steal, which I do have 2 connected cities because I've got 2 cities, and there's a tunnel connecting this city to my home network, which means I just get to discard this card and gain 1 steal. That happens before I actually take my action. So I now have some stuff to build with. And now I'm going to build a symbiotic city, which is fantastic. So to build a symbiotic city, once again, the cost for building cities is over here on your player board as I destroy all these things. So to build a normal city, it costs 2 steel and a kelp and a credit. To build a symbiotic city, it costs 1 kelp, 1 biomatter, which is pink, 1 steel, and 2 credits. So what I have to do is I have to pay, let's see here, 1 of each of these 3 resources, and then 2 credits. Boom, boom. But it's gonna be okay. Okay, sorry. Let me see here. So I need to get a credit somehow. How's this gonna work out? Okay, so I've done that, which means I now get to place a red symbiotic city, which is fantastic. Okay. So that being said, I've done all my actions for that turn, so I'll end my turn by drawing 1 more card, and what do I get? I can gain a kelp if I've got an upgraded tunnel. That's not too bad. All right, so what do I need to do? I need to... I need to connect this city with a tunnel, and I also need to... Man, I need 1 credit. I really need a credit, is what I need. I could get a credit if I go here. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to take the second part of my action. I also get to build one. One building type, and I am going to spend a kelp to build another farm. That's what I want to do. So I'm building another farm, and I've built my second farm next to a connected city, which means that this ongoing benefit card right here will trigger. So you have these ongoing benefit cards over here once again, and this one on the bottom says when you build a second farm next to a connected city, you gain a steal. So that triggers at the end of that action. So I'm going to gain 1 steal back, which is fantastic. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the money I need to build my 2 tunnels, and I think I'll be all good after that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this green location right here to bump up 2 spaces on the turn order track, which is going to do 1 thing for me. It's going to bump me up twice, and whenever I bump up on the second space, I gain a credit. So I gain the credit I need. Now, the bummer of this is I have a green card that I could play, but the green card right here would cost me a credit to get a thing, and I really can't spend that credit. So what I'm going to have to do is I am going to have to just chunk a card to gain no benefit. Now, if I chunk a green card, it's matching the action that I took, so I wouldn't necessarily get the didn't match your action benefit, because I have a card that gives me an extra a bonus if I don't match the color. I just wouldn't get to resolve the action. So what I really need to do is discard a red card so that the color doesn't match, because then I would at least gain a little bit of a bonus. So I'm going to discard a red card, which means my color does not match at all to the action that I took, which normally means that you gain nothing. But I have a card over here that says when I do that, whenever I chunk a card that doesn't match, I get to draw a card. So that's what that card gives me, which means that I don't gain nothing from that action. I don't get to do the action of my card, but essentially going to this spot, I got to raise 2 spaces on this, which will give me a credit, and I gained a card. So it's not like I got nothing. I just didn't gain everything I wanted. And now to end my action, I will draw 1 more card, because you always draw a card at the end of your action. That also means that I have to discard a card before I take my next turn, because you can only start each turn with 3 cards. So let's see here. Oh man, all of these are good cards. So I'm going to take a yellow action as my last action for the turn, which means I want to hold on to this card because it will at least give me something. But that means that I have to discard one of these three, and I really don't want to do that. I think I'm actually going to get rid of this card right here, which is a bummer because that's a great card. But these two red cards, I kind of want both of them. So I'm going to get rid of this card. Whoop. And start my next turn. And to end this round, I'm going to go here, which will allow me to build 2 tunnels, which is fantastic because this is going to do a couple of cool things for me. Before I go ahead and start resolving this action, I'm going to play my orange card, which this one just says I get 1 bump on the turn order track, and I get to draw 1 card. So I'm going to get 1 bump, which will give me a steal because I've moved up to the steal spot. And then I'm going to get to draw a card. So I will draw this 1 card. That's not a bad card at all. Okay, now I'll actually get to do the action. So I can build 2 tunnels. So to build a tunnel, it costs 1 steel and 1 credit per tunnel. So I'm definitely going to build both of those tunnels by discarding 2 credits and 2 steel. And this does a couple of things for me. First off, this connects this red city to my starting city by tunnels, which means this city is now connected, which is super important because that means this city will produce now during the production phase, and the red cities produce points. So that is really good. And then in addition to that, I also am able to connect this, I'm also able to connect my network to this, what are these called? Metropolis tile. So these tiles are at the corner of our boards, and when you connect your network to these tiles, they gain you an immediate cool thing. So for instance, this tile right here says that whenever I connect to it, I gain 1 bump on the turn order track, I gain 1 card, and I gain 3 kelp. That is an immediate thing that happens right away. So, sorry, the kelp kind of bled into the green there. But I get to do that immediately because I've connected my network to this card. So I'm going to go ahead and get 1 bump on the turn order track, which will give me 1 point. This is the symbol for points. It only took me the end of round 4 to get my first point. I will now additionally gain a card and 3 kelp, which is fantastic because I need all of those things. And I drew some pretty good cards too. All right, so I'm going to draw the 3 kelp right here. I got the turn order bump. I got the everything that I'm going to get. Okay, that means that the round is over, which means that we will move into the production phase. So during the production phase, a number of things happen. So there's a turn order reference right here that'll tell you what happens on the production phase. The first thing is the buildings on your board produce. That's what this symbol is right here. Then if you have any production cards, those things will produce, which I don't have any production cards, but hopefully I will get some. And then if you've connected to any Metropolis tiles that have production actions, they will also produce. I don't have any Metropolis tiles, so I don't get those to produce, but I do have connected cities that have buildings around them, and these buildings will produce because they're connected to cities in my network. So when you look at your player reference right here, normally cities will produce the thing right here. So for instance, if I just built 1 green building next to a city, it will produce 1 kelp during the production phase. If you upgrade 1 green building, it will produce a kelp and a point. But if you're able to build 2 upgraded cities in the same, 2 upgraded buildings rather in the same city, it will produce the 3rd column right here, which is crazy awesome. Now I wasn't able to do that with my green, but I was able to do that with my yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to go building by building and produce. And our tunnels will also produce some stuff, which I'll talk about here in a second. So let's just produce a city at a time. So the first city right here is this starting city, and it has 2 upgraded yellow buildings next to it, which means it's going to produce 3 credits and, most importantly for me, 2 pink biomatter, which I want as much of as I can possibly have, because biomatter means I can build red cities, which I want a ton of. All right, normally there's a limit on how many red cities you have in the game based on the player count, but in a solo game, it's unlimited, which I'm not going to build a ton of them. I'll build a few, but I want to try and build as many as I can. Okay, so that's the first city. That city has produced. Next, we are going to produce on this second city. Now this city is a bit interesting because it has the upgraded board, so this spot right here is going to produce an extra kelp because of this symbol, but we'll go through each building. So this upgraded farm will produce a kelp and a point. This farm is not upgraded, which means it'll just produce a kelp, but this farm spot has this extra little kelp symbol, so this will actually produce 2 kelp and a point. So total, we're going to produce 3 kelp and 1 point for this city right here, which is fantastic. 1 extra point. Now, this city right here, normal cities by themselves don't produce anything, but red cities just produce 2 points. Doop, doop. That is fantastic. I need as many of those as I can possibly get. That being said, the only thing left is to produce for our tunnels. Each tunnel will produce 1 credit, and if they're upgraded, they'll produce a credit and a point. So I get 3 credits, so I am going to, give these 2 back. I now have 6. That is all the stuff that I've produced. Now we will then move on to the next step, which is refreshing all of our action cards. So at the end of every era, our action cards refresh. Then we have to feed our cities. So for each city that you have to pay 1 food. So I currently have, for each connected city, you have to pay a food. So that's important to know. If you haven't connected a city to your network, you don't have to feed people because no one has been able to travel there yet. But these are all connected for me, so I do have to pay 3 food to feed those cities. Now I'm left with a couple of steel, some money. So I have enough to build a few things, which I need to do really badly. I'm falling behind. I need to build 7 cities before the game is over to win. And I also need to do lots of things. I need to do all kinds of things. But we're at the end of an era, which means that we now do some board switching around. So at the end of an era, we will draw a new deck of era cards. So we are no longer using the deck of cards that has the 1 symbol on it right here. We are using the deck of cards that has the 2 symbol on it for our second era right here. So we will shuffle these cards up, and at the start of each era, each player draws 3 cards from the new era deck, and then they have to discard down to 3 once again before they take their first turn. So we're going to shuffle these on up, deal out 3 cards, and hopefully get some good stuff. Because I'm trying to kind of go for a farm symbiotic city thing for the in-game scoring points. But I don't know if it's going to work out. I need to build lots more farms, and to do that, I need to get lots more kelp. You just need all the things to get all the things. All right, so I've shuffled up these cards. I'm going to draw 3. Place these out on the board. There's 1 left over, my bad. Reset the board, get my action pieces back. Now I don't have to block an extra spot because I moved up on the turn order track. And now we are in round 5, which means we're in era 2. So now these blocked spots are going to rotate back to the start of each track. And we have to go again. So let's see which cards I drew. Okay. This one says, once per turn, when you upgrade a farm, you can pay 1 credit to gain 1 kelp. That's not bad. This one just simply says, if you have 2 steel, you gain a steel. That's not bad. And then this one says, bump 1 on the turn order track, which is always good for me because I need to bump 1 per round to make sure that I don't... Oh, man, there's so many good cards. Okay, so I think I'm going to get rid of this A card. This is not a bad card. Actually... This one would allow me to get a credit and a point, which is not bad. Good grief. There's so many. Every card in this game is good. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. This is a absolutely baller card, but because it just produces a steal during each production phase, this would just give me 2 steel before the game is over. Don't know that that's worth it. This one says if you have 2 steel, gain a steel, which is not bad. This one allows me to gain kelp whenever I upgrade a farm, which is not bad, but it costs me credits. Ooh, man. I think I might actually need to keep that one. So I think I'm going to get rid of this one that just gives me a turn order bump. Good grief. These are all good. Okay. All right, I'm going to get rid of this one that gives me a steal. I'm going to get rid of this one that gives me a turn order. No, I'm going to keep the one that gives me a turn order bump. I'm down to 4 cards. Oh, man. This is very tough. These are tough decisions. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this one. All right, I'm keeping these 3. Now we're ready to move on to the next round. Okay, so what do we need to do in this round? I need to build cities, and how? I need to build roads, big time. Because at the end of the game, I need to get to this tile out here, to this metropolis tile, for this tile to score at the end of the game. But this tile at the end of the game will give me points for having tunnels out on the board, which is huge. Because you have to build a lot of tunnels anyway in this solo variant. So I think what I'm going to do is, for my first turn, I need to build a city. So let's go to... I don't want to go to the green spot just yet because I don't have a green card. So I need science as well. So let's go up here. First turn, I'm just going to go up here. When I go up here, I could either gain 2 science or upgrade buildings by paying science. I think I'm just going to gain 2 science. I'm also going to play this yellow card out that gives me an action that says I can gain a credit and a point. So I will gain my 2 science. I will... All right, I'll gain that. And then I will draw a card. That's my first turn. Oh man, I just drew a fantastic red card. This card increases my hand limit for the rest of the game. That is so powerful. I am so glad I drew that. Because that will mean I have to make less tough choices, which is fantastic. All right, so next action, what do I need to do? I need to gain science. I need to build a city. I did not draw a green card, so I think what I'm going to do is go and... I need to build some things. I need to build farms, and I need to build cities. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go here to this red spot that allows me to build farms or labs. And I'm going to play this red card out that just increases my hand limit by 1, because that is really strong. And then I'm going to pay 2 kelp to build 2 farms. So what I'm going to do, I get 1 kelp back. I'm going to build out 2 farms to my connected red city. And since I've built my second farm next to a connected city, I get to gain 1 steel back, which is great. And then I've played out my red card to increase my hand limit. Now I will draw an extra card for my turn. That's a good card, but it's not a fantastic card for me. So I think what I also need to do is I need to go and get some more resources to kind of build up for hopefully building a lot of cities in this round. And hopefully connecting them. So I will go to this red spot and I will play... Oh, I thought I got a turn order bump. My first, oh no, I didn't get a turn order bump. So I will play this card as my red action to gain a credit and a turn order bump, which is great because that'll mean that I don't have to block an extra spot and I get a credit back. 1 turn order bump, and then I gain 2 steel and a kelp. Fantastic. All right. So that is my first round. I've set myself up a little bit better. But I need to start building some roads and I need to start building lots of stuff. Okay, let me draw a card to end my turn here. Ooh, that one's really good as well. All right, end of the round. We're moving on to the next round. These blocked action spaces will move by 1 space each, which is a bummer because I really wanted to upgrade this round, but I'll have to wait until next round to do that, which is fine because I just need to upgrade before the production phase. And now I can build some things. I only have yellow cards, which is okay. This is okay because I can go here to build a city and take a really good action. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my first action to build a city and then 1 additional building. And I think the card I'm going to play with it is this one right here to just gain a bump on the turn order track, which will give me this. And then now I'll get to build a city. So I'm going to build a symbiotic city, paying, let's see here, paying 1 steel, 1 kelp, 1 red, and 2 credits, which is, whoa, that's a lot. But it's so worth it. These symbiotic cities are the bomb.com. You heard it here first. Okay, which means I will get to build a symbiotic city. I think I'm going to build it in the middle here. When I do that, when I cover up this spot, I will get a credit and a steel back. And credit and a steel back. And I then get to build 1 additional building of any type that I want. Okay. For every 2. Okay, and I think I don't want to spend my last kelp because I need my kelp to build. I think I'm going to build a lab. I need to get some science. I need to get some extra things. So to build a lab, you have to spend 1 steel. So I'm going to spend 1 steel and build a lab right here on my first city. And then that is my action. I will draw a card. And, fantastic. I finally drew. Oh, man. What a card. I finally drew a green card, which is great because I want to go to the green spot and build another city. So here is the green card that I drew, which says whenever you go to the spot that I just used, I can build an extra building for the normal cost, which is great. All right, so that action's done. Next action, I'm going to come here to build another city. So I'm going to pay 1 steel, 1 kelp, 1 red, and 2 more credits. And I think, so I'm going to get 3 back. And I think, oops, sorry, I'm pushing stuff out of the way. I have to pay these things. Build another symbiotic city. Oh my goodness, so fantastic. I think I'm going to build this one out here. So once again, you can build cities in adjacent spaces. So this is adjacent to this. This is adjacent to this. They don't have to be connected yet to build them out. So I can build these cities. These are like unpopulated cities that once I build a tunnel to, people can start to get to. And now I need to go build some roads. So I have 1 action spot left before the end of the round, and this action spot is about to get blocked for the next round. So I definitely need to go here. And, oh, sorry, my bad. Last turn, I didn't even play my card. So I'm going to definitely play out my card. And then at the end of the turn, I will draw a card. Fantastic. All right. So now, as my action, I'm going to go up to the build to building spot, and I'm just going to chunk a card to. I'm just going to chunk a card because I don't have any cards that I really want to play on this action. So I'm going to chunk a card, which I once again have my ability. It says when I can't match up, when I chunk a card, I get to draw a card. So I will do that. Oh, that is fantastic. All right. And then now I get to build 2 roads. So I'm going to pay my 2 steel, pay my 2 credits to build 2 roads. So I desperately need to connect my 2 cities, which is great because now I can do that. So I build 1 road right here, 1 road right here. So now that means that I have 5 connected cities. So I only need 2 more cities in the last round to make sure that I have the 7 that I need for the victory points. And all of these cities are going to produce points during the next production phase, which will be at the end of next round. What I really need to do, though, is make sure that I get some of these cards. I cannot forget about this, because this is big for in-game scoring. All right, so that being said, at the end of my turn, I will draw 1 more card, and my turn is done. Oh my gosh, that one's really good, too. All right, sweet. So, at the end of the round, I did get 1 bump on the turn order track, so I don't have to block an additional space. And these all move over by 1. which is not the end of the world because I can use my action spot to upgrade stuff during this round. We're in the next to last round in the second era, and then things are going to speed up really quickly. All right, so what can we do? You know what I haven't done this round? I haven't used any of my action cards. That's bad because you want to get as many free actions as possible, right? So, good grief. What do I need to do? Ooh, goodness gracious. Okay, so I could. Man. All right, I could do some crazy stuff here. So what do I want to do first? Well, I think what I want to do first is I want to go up here to upgrade some things. I definitely need to do some upgrading. So this spot right here, I can either spend 2, or I can either gain 2 science or spend up to 3 science to upgrade 3 buildings. Once again, I have a discount over here that says I only have to spend 2. I only have to spend 2 science rather, to upgrade cards over there. Upgrade buildings rather. Sorry, I got distracted. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and pay my 2 science and upgrade 3 buildings. So I just want to upgrade these 3 farms because that is going to help me out in a big way in the next production phase. So I'm upgrading these 3 farms. Whoa, buddy. That means that both of these cities are going to produce 3 kelp, but more importantly, both of these cities are going to produce 3 points because double upgraded farm cities produce kelp and points, which is fantastic. Got a point engine going. I might be a little strapped for cash, but hopefully maybe we can fix that before the round is over. Maybe, I don't know. The roads will help with that. So that being said, okay, I've done my upgrading. Now I get to play a card. So I'm going to play this card right here that says, this is just an ongoing benefit card that says whenever I upgrade a road, I can pay 1 credit to gain a point and a card. And that is not a bad action at all. And I may be able to do that this round. Let's see what I can do. Because I need to, let's see here, I'll draw a card. Oh man, that's a good card too. All right, what can I do? I have 2 more turns. I've upgraded my things. I'm in a pretty good spot for the next production phase, but I could be in a better spot if I go here to gain... Oh, man. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the red spot to gain a special card. I need to get these cards before the end of the game because I need to play them to get points. So what I'll do is I will come to this spot. This says that I can gain a special card. So when you gain a special card, you can pick one of the face-up 6, or you can pick the top card from this, or you can draw 3 cards from under this card and pick one. These cards are really good. I just haven't drawn them during the game. I for some reason, I get locked into my own little engine right here. I do know for sure that I want to pick this card, or this card right here. So currently, this card at the end of the game would get me 6 points because this says I gain 2 points for each connected symbiotic city. That's really good. This card would give me 3 points for every 2 upgraded farms that I have, which is currently, that's 6 points for me as well, which I can probably increase that a little bit more by the end of the game. And then this one just says that I can spend 2 kelp up to 5 times at the end of the game to get 3 points for each of those 2 kelp. That I think is the best possible outcome. Now, these cards are expensive. They cost 3 credits when you play them. Right here, you have to pay 3 credits. But they are super, super worth it. Now, that being said, I've done my action on this spot, but I still get to play my card. So I'm going to play this card. This one says that I can pay 2 credits to use the action space that another player is occupying right now. So I'm going to spend my 2 credits. and I am going to use this action space that's occupied by this player. What that will do is that will allow me to first use an A action. So I think I'm going to use this action right here to get a science, a card, and a credit. Draw my card. Then, oh, that one's really good too. Then I will get to build one road. So I'm going to pay, sorry, I don't know why I put those in there. I'm going to pay a credit and a steel to build one road before the end of the round. And I still have an action left. Oh my goodness. And then I can use that to maybe upgrade a thing. Oh, it's all coming together. All right, so where do I want to build a road? I want to eventually connect to this city right here so that I can maybe get to that metropolis. The only problem with this is that this, so on the advanced side of the board, there are surcharges to build on certain spaces. There are red outline spaces. So for instance, if you look at this player board and you look up at the top right spot there, you see there's a couple spaces that have a red outline. That means that you have to pay the good showing to be able to place something in those action spaces. I have a spot like that on my board right here. So I could build a road right there, but I would need a steel to do that, and I don't have a steel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build... I think I'm going to build a road right here, because I need to connect to this tile right there, and I actually have to build 2 tunnels to connect to this tile. So I've got one of those knocked out, and that tunnel will produce. So that being said, I now have to discard down to 4 cards, and man, these are all pretty good, but I think I'm going to discard this card. And now I have 1 action left, so what do I want to do? I could go to a green location, so I have all orange actions. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to do a cool interaction right here. So I'm going to come up here to this orange space because this space is just great. I get to use an action card, and then I also get to pick from those 2 resources. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a science and a steel, because I think I'm good on kelp. I'm going to pick a science and a steel. Need all the steel I can get, I think, to build roads and to build other stuff. So I built a science and a steel, or got a science and a steel. I now get to use an A action, so I'm going to use this A action, which allows me to gain a credit and a point. And then for my actual card action, I'm going to play this action card. Now you'll notice I have my limit of 4 action cards. What you can do, whenever you play your 4th action card, you get to bump one of your other action cards. And if you bump a card that is readied, that hasn't been used yet, you get to use the action of the card that you bumped. So I'm going to bump my starting card, which is still available, which means I get to do the action on the top of that card, and I'm just going to gain another steel for that card. So that action was not bad. All told, I got a science, 2 steel, and 2 credits. Did I get my other? No, I didn't get. I got 2 steel, and I got a better action card played out there that I can then use in the next round. So that being said, we're at the end of our 2nd era, and we are now going to go through our 2nd production phase, and we have a lot more to produce this round. So one by one, we're going to go through each of these cities and produce like we did last time. So this city right here now has a lab, and it has 2 upgraded connected desalinization plants, which means I'll get to do 3 credits and 2 biomatter for those desalinization plants. Because once again, as a reminder, whenever you're producing, for the double upgraded cities, you gain what's on the 3rd column over there on the right. So for 2 upgraded yellow cities, yellow buildings, rather. I gain those 3 credits and 2 biomatter. Then, in addition to that, I do gain 1 science for my lab. It's not an upgraded lab, but it is a lab, so I gain that. Now I'm going to move to this city. So normally, for this city, I would gain 3 kelp and 3 points. But in addition, this spot gives me 1 extra kelp during production because of the kind of advanced variant board. So all told, I'm getting 4 kelp and 3 points for that city, which I need all the kelp I can get because of my in-game scoring card. And hopefully I'll be able to get even more in-game score, 1 more in-game scoring card by the end of this round. So I gained my 4 kelp, but more importantly, 1, 2, 3 points. I need all of those I can get. All right, moving to my next city, I once again gain 3 kelp and 3 points. So 1, 2, 3, 3 more kelp. I'll take it. Now I'm going to produce, all of my symbiotic cities will produce because they're all connected, which means that each one of them will produce 2 points. So 2, 4, 6 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then all of my roads will produce. Now, roads will only produce if they're connected to cities. So these will all produce because they're all connected. So roads give you 1 credit each, or 1 credit and a point if they're upgraded, which hopefully we can upgrade some roads by the end of next round. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roads. 6 credits for those 6 roads, which we need all the credits we can get because I need to play some expensive cards this next round. All right, not bad. I could use more biomatter. Anyway, sorry, I need to finish off the round. All of the action cards that are used get refreshed. Then we have to feed all of our cities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities require 5 kelp. So I only have 2 kelp left. Ugh, that's not as good as I was hoping. That means I can only build 2 more cities, which is okay because I need 2 more cities to even be eligible to win. You have to have 7 connected cities to win in a solo game. And I may be in money trouble, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes here. I need to make a few things happen before the end of the game. First thing I think I need to make happen is finish the round setup. So we are moving into Era 3, which means that we need to get the 3rd Era deck. So let's get rid of these cards and shuffle up our Era 3 cards and draw 3 cards. Now, the nice thing about the Era 3 deck is that the Era 3 deck will include some in-game scoring cards that you might just get for free. So like normally with these special cards, you have to go out and buy the really powerful in-game scoring cards. Some of the cards in deck 3 are in-game scoring cards. The only downside is that they are kind of, it's kind of random what you're going to get. So, oh, thanks, David. Thanks, bro. I'm so close. Before the end of the game, I have to get 7 connected cities, and I have to be able to score 100 points to win in a solo game. I might be able to do it. We'll see. I've got 1 round, 1 era, rather, to complete this. So I get 3 of my Era 3 cards. These workers all come back. Now, I didn't get a bump on the turn order track, so if you don't bump up at least 1 space on the turn order track, you have to block an extra space on the next round. So what we'll do before we do any of our card decisions is we will move our blocked spaces. So these each move 1 space clockwise. So these spaces are all blocked for our next round, which is a bummer because that's a great space. And then we have to draw the top card of the deck and add together all the numbers right here. So that is card 1, 5, 6. So we are going to add 1, 5, and 6 together for a total of 12, which means we have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if that space is blocked, you move to the next space clockwise and block an additional space. Yeah, no joke. No joke, man. I have to get 100 points. Pretty much impossible. I'm just kidding. I did it last night. It was so much fun. All right. So I drew these 3 cards, which are all really good. Holy cow. Okay. This one is good, but I don't think it's good enough to keep because I need to keep all the kelp I can get for my science, rather. I want to keep all the science I can get to upgrade stuff. But that being said, that's actually not that bad because that would give me a kelp and a point. Ah, crap. I think I'm going to get rid of it. And I think I'm going to I'm definitely going to keep this card because this card allows me to take an extra action for a credit, which is super worth it. That one allows me to get a biomatter, which is really strong. I don't think I'm going to be able to... I'm not going to keep this one, which makes up my mind for me. I don't think I can do that. I don't think it would be worth it to spend the time to get to the third space of the turn order track, which means that I'm now set up and ready to go for my last era. We're going to see if we can do this. So I need to build 2 more cities, and I also need to do some stuff. Holy crap. Okay, I think I can build 2 cities in one turn, and here's how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go to this green location, which allows me to build 1 city. I also have, from my upgrade cards, I also have a spot that says, when you go to this, whenever you use this yellow city action, you can build 2 buildings instead of 1, and I'm going to be able to play on that yellow spot because of this green card that I have in my hand. So here's how this is going to work. First things first, I'm going to build a city, right? So I have to spend 1 steel, 1 kelp, 1 biomatter, and 2 credits rather, and I wish credits were points, to build 1 symbiotic city. I'll build it right there. Now, that's the action on that space, but I'm going to play this green card as my card action, which this one says I can spend 1 credit to take the action of 1 unoccupied yellow space, which that is an unoccupied yellow space. So I'm going to do that, which means that I'll now do that action. So for my second action right there, I'm going to spend a steel, a biomatter, and a kelp, and 2 credits to build that spot right there. Oh man, I just spent my last kelp, so I can't build another farm. Oh, okay, anyway, I'm going to build my second symbiotic city, and I think I'm going to build it here. Holy cow, can we do this? And I'm going to finish off my turn by spending 2 credits to build 2 yellow buildings. Right here, maybe. Ah, man. It only took me what have we been doing here? It only took me an hour and a half, but we finally got to the good part. Sorry, I forgot to move the round marker. We finally got to the good part where all the cool combos start to happen. So I'm going to build them, sure, right here. It doesn't really matter. Now, I also have a card that says whenever you build your second... Oh, nope, it does matter because I need to build them to a connected city. So I'm going to build them right here because I have a card that says when you build your second desalinization plant to a connected city, you get a credit, which I need desperately every credit I can muster because I have some in-game cards to play. Whoa, build a tunnel for the usual cost. What a card! All right. But I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come right here to this spot and do some stuff. So I need to first off play my red card. This is super important for me to play because this is an in-game scoring card that is hugely potentially beneficial to me. So I'm going to pay. Now, to play that card, once again, you have to pay the cost listed on the left side, which is 3 credits, which is a bunch, but that's okay. I'll play that because that is in-game scoring that is majorly good. Now, I've done that, so now I get to do the action of the space, which means I need kelp, I need money, I need cards, I need all of these things. What could I do? Whenever I upgrade, I could pay that. Okay, that's not bad. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do this. Nope. I need steel. Holy crap. Okay. Undo all of that. What I'm going to do is this and not get to use this action. So I've played my red card And then I'm going to gain 2 steel and a kelp. Take that back. Take that back. All right. All right. Now we're good. So that's that action. I'll draw a card. Whoa. That's so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's a really good... Man, that's a really good action. Gosh, is this all going to be able to happen? Okay, I just drew a really good card. All right, so... And I need to save some steel because of the card that I just drew. So I have 1 action left. And I think I'm going to go to the yellow action spot right here, which will allow me to upgrade some stuff. Because I need to upgrade some things and some stuff. So what I'll do first is I will, pay this. I'll play this yellow card to gain 1 credit instead of gaining 2 cards. This is a tough choice because gaining 2 cards in the 3rd era can be huge. Dang it. No, I'm going to go for the credit. I'm going to go for the credit because I use the credit to build 2 more roads and I need to connect cities. I need to do so much stuff. All right. So I've done that. Now I get to actually take the action of the location. So I have the card that says I only have to spend 2 instead of 3 science to upgrade 3 buildings. So I'm going to do that. And I get to upgrade 3 things. So I think I'm going to upgrade... I think I'm going to upgrade these 2 buildings and 1 road. And whenever I build my second... No, I've already done that. So whenever I upgrade a road, though, a tunnel rather, I can pay 1 credit to gain a point and a card from this card right here. Is the point worth it? He asks himself introspectively. I think so, because I'm getting a point for 1 credit, which is much better than the end of the game conversion. But I do need the credit to build the road. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it all for the Trisket all. All right, so I'm going to spin that, and I will gain 1 point and 1 card. That's done. And then at the end of my turn, I will draw 1 more card. Because at the end of your action, you always draw a card. And that is actually the end of the first round here. So, man. All right, so a few things happen. We move 1 more round. Gosh, I got to get some stuff done. I've got to build 2 roads. Base level, minimum. I have to build 2 roads to even be eligible to win the game. Because I need, 3 roads. Well, 2 roads to be eligible, 3 roads to really have a chance. So I need to get 1 more steel and 2 more credits. How do I make that happen before the end of the game? Okay. These are the decisions, everybody. These are the decisions that keep me up at night. How do I get the credit? So, first things first, this one goes away. That was the extra blocked spot, which means this one moves and blocks that one. This one moves and blocks that one. This one moves and blocks that one. And now, since I didn't move up on the turn order track, I do have to block 1 extra spot, which is a bummer. That is 142, card 142. And that is also a bummer because that would have been a great card to draw. That's just a in-game scoring card. So, 1427. I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces, which is not good because I need to build roads. Where's my extra blocking action? There we go. And now I have to discard down to 4 cards before the start of my next turn here. And I did already move that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna get rid of. You know what? I don't know that I'm gonna get rid of that card because I think I'm gonna get rid of this card because this card is. It says every time I move up on the Federation track, I gain a steel and 1 card. God, that's not bad. But this one is just, they're all so good. So I might actually keep that one because that would give me the ability to do some cool stuff. I'm going to get rid of this card. Okay. So, what do I need to do? I need to build roads desperately. To do that, I need to get money. Money, please. Money, please. So, how am I going to do that? I'm going to first go here. And I am going to use the space that says, I'm going to use the A action that says gain a card, a money, please, and a science. So card, money, science. That's really good because that means I'm going to be able to upgrade 3 buildings with a science action. Oh my gosh. To build a tunnel. Holy crap, I just drew a really good card, which is going to allow me to do some cool stuff. Okay, so that's the first thing I do. I do that A action. I need to get another steel, big time. And I need to... What do I need? Another science, maybe? Science? Is that what we're thinking? No. No, we're not. I need kelp. Probably. For in-game scoring purposes. Now I have to discard down to 4 cards. And I think I'm going to discard this card right here because I really need to build 1, 2, 3 roads at least. I'm going to be able to do 2 of them up there. Okay, yeah, I think I'm good. I think I am good. Okay, I'm getting rid of this card. And did I actually play a yellow card? I played a yellow card, right? No, I didn't. I didn't even play my yellow card yet. So to play, the card I'm going to play is this one right here that says whenever you upgrade or go up on the turn order track, I get a steal. That's fantastic. All right, so that action is done. I will now draw a card to finish off that action. Okay, build a city with a discount of 1 kelp. Holy crap, that's not bad. Man, I've got so many good cards in my hand right now. All right, second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to go to this spot. I'm going to gain 2 bumps on the turn order track, which will get me a credit. And since I moved up on the turn order track, thanks to the card that I just played, I will also gain a steal, which is choice. Okay. Now I'm also going to play this green card, which just says pay a credit to build 1 road. That is fantastic. Pay 1 credit to build 1 road. That's really good. So I'm going to build a road out, and I need to connect, most importantly, this spot first, because now that means that since I've built a double road to connect right here, that means that this tile will score at the end of the game, which is huge, because that alone right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 roads, which will get me almost 5 points once I build 1 more road. If I can build 10 roads, I would gain 9 points, so we'll see what we can do. Okay, and then I'll draw a card. And last action... Ooh, that's really good too. Dang, so many good cards. Last action, I'm going to go up here to the build 2 roads spot. I'm going to pay 2 steel and 2 credits to build 2 roads. And I'm going to build a road right here so that this city actually produces points. And right here, which means that this city will produce points. And now I have to play a card. Ugh. I didn't think this through. I did not think this through. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I am building 1 of the 2 roads. This is a risk. Okay, I'm building 1 of the 2 roads so that I can save the steel for this reason. Okay. This says I can pay 3 steel to build a city. Whenever you have a symbol right here that says the city with like red or white, this one means that you can either build a red city or a white city. That means that I get to build an additional symbiotic city without paying the red biomatter resource, which is massive. So I have to pay 3 steel to do that, which is a big risk because I might not be able to connect. I only have 1 more round, and I need to connect those 2 cities. I need to build 2 roads in this last round, or else I am done. And can I do that? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know that I don't know that I can actually do that. Okay, but instead of getting rid of this card, just in case I'm able to do that, I'm gonna chunk this card that says I can build a city at a discount of 1 kelp and just draw a card. So I'm still gonna build my 2 roads, so I have to get rid of the steel. So I get 1 steel back, and I have to get rid of that credit. And I'm building my second road because I need to do that. Okay. I need to do that to even be eligible to win the game, so I need to put that first. So now I'm eligible to win, potentially. Maybe I can build another city. We'll see. Okay. So I chunked a card so that I could draw a card, and then at the end of the round, I will draw 1 more card. So I need to discard down to. Ooh, that's pretty good. I would get 2 bumps. Oh man. Okay. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. I'm going to keep this one. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll chunk that one before the end of the round. That is a great card, but these cards might be better. And now we have 1 more round. We have 1 more round to see what I can do to do something cool. I could upgrade a couple of things maybe. All right, let's see. So I moved on the turn order track, which means that this spot is not going to be, I'm not going to have an extra bumped spot. That will go there. This will go here. This will go here, which is a bummer because I would love to upgrade. I've got enough science to upgrade 3 things, which, anyway. Okay. So here's what I need to do. I need to go ahead and do, let's see here. I think it's going to be okay. I need to go, I definitely need to use a yellow action this round because I'm going to get to bump up twice. So I think I'll go here, and I'll gain a steel and a kelp. Then I will get to use one of my A actions, which I'm going to use this A action to upgrade one of my roads for 1 science instead of 1 credit. So I'll upgrade this one, which will be great because that'll give me points. And then I get to play a yellow card. So the yellow card that I'm going to play the yellow card that I'm going to play is this one, which will allow me to pay 1 kelp to bump up twice on the turn order track, which will get me a credit. And whenever I bump up on the turn order track, I get a steel and a card because of this card right here. So I will draw a card, and then I will draw 1 card to end out my turn. Oh, man. So many good cards. Is there any space I could go to build a road? Yes, there is. And could I potentially build a city? Maybe. Okay, I gotta discard down to 1 card. Or I have to discard 1 card, rather. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this card, even though that seems like such a good card. I'm going to get rid of this card for reasons, even though that is such a good card. Okay. So now I need to go take a green action, and play this card. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to play... I'm going to get to draw 2 cards. I get to pay 1 science to upgrade a thing, and I think I'm going to upgrade another road. And then, as my card, I'm going to pay 1 credit to use 2 of my action cards, which will allow me to do that. So I will use these 2 action cards to get 2 more cards, a point, a credit, and a kelp. What a deal. A point, most importantly. Okay, so I have 4 cards to look through. I need to draw 2 more cards because I drew 2 cards for the action that I took, which will give me choices for the last action of my turn. This is the last action of the game for me, so I need to do something big. So what can I do? Well, let's see here. Ooh, that's not bad. That's a 3-point card. That's pretty good. This one would allow me to do that for 2 points. That's not bad. Okay. So I could potentially go to that spot to build a road and then build a city. So I could, holy cow, could I do that? I think I can, no, because I need the steel. Ah, bummer. Bummer, 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 bummer. Okay. Man, what am I going to do? I've got 1 turn. What can I do? I guess the best thing I can do is build another road maybe and use an action card, which I can't actually do, no, because then this would give me 3 points, I guess. So that's not bad, but actually, okay. I think actually I need to build 2 farms if I can. And then, so I could do that by doing a red action, and then I could play this to get 2 more points. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm getting rid of all of these. I'm not going to play all those cards. I am simply going to go here. I'm going to spend 2 kelp to build 2 farms, which will potentially help me out at the end of the game when it comes to some scoring because of my kelp card. So I'll build these 2 right here. And then I will play this card that says I can spend a kelp for 2 points. So that's what I'll do. Spend my last kelp for 2 points. Okay, we are at the end of the game. So here's what happens. At the end of the game, we will produce 1 more time. And this is big because I need to produce in a big way. So all of this production happens. First off, we will go to this city. I will get 3 credits, 2 red goods, and then a science. Then for this city, I will gain normally 3 kelp and 3 points, but once again, I'm on the advanced side of the board, and on the advanced side of the board, there are some spaces that will produce extra things if you build there. So this space, whatever building is here, will also produce 1 kelp. So I'll actually get 4 kelp and 3 points, which is huge because the kelp for me is big time points at the end of the game, up to potentially 15, which I need in a desperate way. I need to get to 100, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Next city, I will get, once again, 3 kelp and 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Then, next city right here, I will just get 2 kelp. And next city produces 3 money and 2 red goods, 2 pink goods, whatever those are. Oh my gosh, this game is so good. It's so good. Everyone, go buy this game. If you have a chance, go buy this game. Okay. I've produced that city. I've produced this city. So now all of my roads will produce. So I'll gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $9, 9 credits. So I'll get a 10 and give 1 back. And then 3 of my roads are upgraded, so they will give me a point each. So I get 1, 2, 3 points from that. 1, 2, 3 points. And last but not least, certainly, is all of my connected symbiotic cities will produce 2 points. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 points for that. So up to 40 points. Ooh, I don't know that this is going to happen. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if this happens. So at the end of each round, I also still need to finish, I also still need to feed my cities. So I've done all of the production that produces. I now need to feed my cities by paying a food each. I could pay, so here's the deal. Because of my specific scoring card, I really need to keep as much of my kelp as possible. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay 4 of my biomatter to feed 4 of my cities, and then I will pay 3 kelp. Actually, you know what? The most I can get is, that's going to give me 2, so I can spend 2 kelp per 3 points. So the most I can get is, that would give me 5, so the most I can get is 6 points from that. That seems really bad. I wish that was more. So instead of that, I'll do 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll do 3 and then 4, which leaves me, gosh, that's the worst. Okay, I don't know if this is going to happen, everybody. I don't know. We'll see. So I still have to feed my cities, and then now we go through in-game scoring. So that is where this little bonus card will come in handy. This shows us what we score. The first thing that we score is our golden tile right here. So this golden tile, if you are connected to it at the end of the game, will trigger. And I was connected to it with 2 tunnels, which means that I am going to get to score this card. This one gives me points based on how many tunnels or upgraded tunnels I have in my network. I currently have, I believe, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which will give me 7 points. Not bad. I'll take it. 47. Don't think I'm going to get there, but we'll see. Then we score any end-game scoring cards. So I do have this end-game scoring card, which allows me to spend 2 kelp per 3 points, and I can do that up to 5 times. I can only do this twice, which will give me 6 points. It's not bad, but I wish I could have done better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, the next thing that we will score is all of our cities. So the way that cities work is every connected city scores you 2 points, but then in addition, you score 1 extra point for every type of building. Well, you score more points for every type of building that's attached. So if you have 1 type of building attached, you score, I believe, 3 points. Yeah, 3 points, right? If you have 2 different types of buildings attached, you score 4 points. If you have 3 different types of buildings, you score 6 points per city. So here's what I'm going to do. These cities have, most of my cities have 1 type of building attached. I have 1 city that has 2 types, so that'll give me 4 points. Then all of these cities will give me 3 points. These cities will give me 2 points. So let's see here. I gain 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, right? And then 20. I gain 20 points for all of those things. So up to, let me see, that's what I'm at, 53, so 73, yeah? 73. I'm not even going to get close. This is not even going to be close. Then at the end of the game, you will break down all of your resources into money and then money into points. So every resource that is not biomatter is worth $1. So these are worth $4. And then the biomatter is worth $2 up to $6. And then I divide all of my money by 4. So let's see here. 15. Let's see here. 15, 22. So what, 5? I get 5 extra points for that. If you have a violin at your house, if you could go ahead and play a sad tune. Play a sad tune and cry a single tear for me because I lost. I lost this game and I lost bad. All right. To win the solo game, you have to have 2 criteria. You have to have 7 connected cities. I did that. I had the 7 cities, but you have to also have 100 points minimum, and anything over 100 points is like, bonus, get your highest score. Last night, whenever I played this game solo by myself, I scored 108. I was able to win. And I think what I did last night was I went with a money strategy, which I could have potentially done that with this one. So I think to win this one, I would have definitely needed some more, at least 1 to 2 of these cards, more of these cards in a big way. So I could have, like for this one, for instance, would have given me 2 points for every connected symbiotic city. That would have given me 10 more points, right? And then that would have gotten me closer, but that wouldn't have even given me, I needed a lot more. I wasn't even close. But, oh well, I still had a blast. I love this game. If you have a chance to purchase Underwater Cities, it has a fantastic solo variant. It's a little long, but it plays really well with more than one player as well. My wife and I played it. It was a great 2-player game. I've heard feedback that it's long at 4, but honestly, I could play this game for 4 hours and just not even care. I've been streaming it for about 2 hours solo. Now, that being said, I did talk a little bit about how to play the game at the start of the game for probably 20 or 30 minutes. But at the same time, if you really know what you're doing and just play through it really quickly, you could absolutely knock out a solo game in about an hour. And then, a 2-3 player game, you're going to spend at least 2.5 hours playing. But man, what a game. What a game. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. I hope this was enjoyable. This will be around later if you want to watch the playthrough. This will go up onto the channel. I thought about doing this kind of as like a pre-recorded type thing, but I don't know. I'm still playing with the format, kind of seeing what I want to do. If you like this type of content, make sure and like the video, share it, leave me feedback. If you would rather I do more of like a produced, pre-prepared, pre-recorded playthrough where I plan it out a little bit more and do things like that, I could also go that route. Let me know what you think in the comments. And hopefully you had a great time watching it. I know I had a great time playing it. And I'm going to go cook some dinner. I haven't eaten anything all day, and it's 8:30 my time. But I've had tons of coffee, so that's healthy. I've got the shakes. I'm surprised I didn't knock over more towers, to be honest with you. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, like I said. And until next time, I will see you at the table.